Hello, fellow engineers. Welcome to another episode of this Survival on Triton. As you can see here, we are continuing working on the loading platform. So in the previous episode, we worked on this loading platform, but it had some problems. It was not stable, and when it merged on the top, it was kind of doing a jump. But with a sensor, as we did with a rover loading platform, this movement gets much smoother. Now, last time we had a few problems with lifting the ship, so maybe it was an interaction with the gyroscopes, so we want to try it again and see what happens. Of course, we are going to turn off the engines when it locks onto the platform, and we will lock with the landing gear. Let's see what happens. Okay, I think we are in the right spot. We can descend and turn off the engines. And finally, lock the ship. Done. Now it's time to test again the loading platform. Let's see what happens, and this time let's activate it from this panel that is on the loading platform itself. So it is lifting. So this side works, or this direction, and it merged correctly. So it seems to be doing better than before. We shall now work on the rest. So the lower part, or the lower merge block, is not actually merging because I have to modify the lower part of the platform, avoiding it to actually merge with forever with the rest of the base. And yeah, it's not only that I love to see this movement over and over again, it's also to test its stability, and so far it's doing its job. So I've already started modifying the floor of the base, the part that it's below this loading platform, not only to avoid the loading platform to get stuck once it merged on the lower merge block, but also, to make it look a little bit more interesting. So there is this sort of lane that oops, what happened? Let's have a look. I guess some issue with the robotic arm. Let's see the damage. Oh, it's gone. It's gone. What am I gonna do? I know what I'm gonna do. So this is actually what I should have done. You see, the crane is moving and the arm is fixed, and still we are welding all those blast door blocks. Okay, so that part is finished. We can retrieve our robotic arm and start working on another part of the loading platform. So practically every block that is in contact with the floor should not have any face touching the floor of the base. It can be an edge, but not a face. This way it won't merge completely with the base, but just on the merge block. So one thing I have noticed is that I need these sloped blocks around the pistons. Strangely, I thought they wouldn't merge because they are part of a subgrade, but as I made test before, test before, I got the crane stuck, and just removing those blocks, it started moving back up. So this is somehow needed. And moving the loading platform down, I had again that stability problem. So we will have to figure out what the problem is. So one thing I've noticed is that when you have these stability problems and I move it back up, the merge block gets stuck because the platform is not aligned. So I built this structure, sort of binary or railing for the merge block, so it won't move on the sides and should not move forward. I mean, it should keep the platform stable enough. Let's see. So we move it back up again. Not having any stability issue so far. And it's merging smoothly without any shaking or jump. So let's move it back down. So far, so good. Let's see when I reach the floor. There we are. And now, thanks to the work I've done around the pistons, I can also merge down. So I have the binaries, I have the merge blocks, I have the sensors to avoid the jumps. It all should work good. I do not like the look of those binaries because they are like covering partially the elevator glass and view, but for now it's needed, so I have to keep it there. And also this poor spotlight is in the way, so I better get rid of it. We have already a lot of spotlights on the roof, so, and on the crane too, so we can get rid of this without much regret. So let's modify this part to look more similar to the opposite side, just without the merge block. Let's test again the movement. Everything seems to be doing good. And it merged. So now let's add some detailing like these railings, you know, to avoid the engineer to stay on the wrong place at the wrong moment and get crushed by the loading platform. And also, of course, to make the base look a bit better. And yes, we have to test it once again. Imagine if those pieces make the loading platform get stuck here. I mean, if the railings merge to the blocks of the loading platform. Okay, merged. Let's move the platform back up. And yes, it moves. Great. So, what else can we do? Moves back up and down. It has those railings. The movement of the loading platform itself is quite smooth. So I think we have overcome those initial problems, and this might become the final design or mechanical design of the loading platform. And one of the reasons why I want this loading platform to merge while on top and also while on the bottom level is because subgrades interacting with ships, it can generate some issues, some stability issues of the physics of this game. So as a good practice, this loading platform should be used only when the engines of the ship are off and locked onto the platform. The latter might be less important, but of course the engines should be turned off. Now it's time to weld these blocks, the railings, the loading platform itself, and make this thing look a little bit more like definitive. So yes, let's finish welding all this scaffolding. It might benefit the look of this base, although I might change some parts here and there as we go. You know how those things go. Now let's weld the other side. I have added a few more blocks for the stairs that bring the engineer down to the floor level and to the elevators. I am still uncertain about the design of this loading platform, but yeah, I will first make this version, make it work, make it big enough, and then eventually change things. Okay, so I will add another set of pistons to make the loading platform larger. It should actually occupy most of the floor space of this shipyard or base. So I have to make space for this other piston over here. But there is something else I have to do first. Yeah, you can see it here. The rover is in the way, so let's move it. And speaking of which, since I will have to move the docking area for the rover, I will probably have to enlarge this base and make the garage for this rover over there in front of the rover's loading platform. So, lots of work till I finish. So, as this loading platform becomes bigger and heavier, also have more pistons and hinges working on it, we have to test its stability again, thanks to this tiny little ship. Anyway, so far I didn't have a major problem. I mean, you might have seen other videos where attaching a ship to something that is not fixed, it caused a lot of damage to the base. In this case I had problems, yeah, but not major ones. Another thing I should think about is how to connect the ship to the base, because we don't have any connector so far, and it has to be movable as the platform is. So still a lot to do for the next episode. Yes, because we have reached the end of this one. I'm pretty happy with the result. You can see it works, it's stable, so I'm jumping of happiness. Yay! Next time we will try to extend the platform to the whole base, and hopefully start adding detailing and working on the garage for the rover. So expect another episode with this loading platform. Bye bye.